Welcome to Her Story Beyond the Sale, the podcast that celebrates the incredible journeys of women in network marketing. I'm your host, Lori Hart, and I'm here to share the empowering stories of women who have risen in this dynamic field. Whether you're taking your first step or scaling new heights, this is your space to learn, grow, and be inspired. Join us as we explore the paths to financial freedom, the joy of working from the comfort of your home, and the power of breaking through barriers. Together, we'll discover how network marketing is more than just a profession. It's a journey to transforming lives. Hey everybody, so excited to be here for another episode of Her Story Beyond the Sale. And today I have a guest that I got the pleasure of meeting, I want to say a year or two ago. Maybe she knows better than I, but she is an amazing fur mama. She is also an amazing network marketer. She's been in this industry 7 years and she is like free, fancy foot and free. Is that a thing that you say? I don't even know, but she's going to share her story with you that is going to just make you go, things that make you go, She is amazing. And I love to introduce you to my friend, Mandy Padlesny. I can never say the Padlesny. Say it, Lori. Say it. Padlesny. You want a free car. Okay. I've always wanted to say that. So, Mandy, welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on live and just share your journey and your story with all these women that are out there, these badass ladies that are deciding like, hey, is this industry for me or not? That's really what this podcast is about. So give us your name, say it correctly. Tell me a little bit about you, a little bit about your background, and what did you do before network marketing?
Hello, Lori. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that. And no one gets my name right, so you're totally fine. You can just call me Mandy P. But it is Padlesny. Okay. So before network marketing, right? I actually was a bartender, server, unemployable, like trying to do corporate stuff. But I actually have autoimmune inflammatory disease, so my joints are like a grandma, but I'm 38. But this was back in when I was like 25, 28. Kind of just coming out of like the whole party scene and like the industry bartending scene. I was starting to be like, okay, I'm getting older. I can't really be going on spring breaks and like partying and being a crazy person. And I was actually just starting to physically like deteriorate a little bit. So I knew that I needed to move into like some sort of desk role or something like that. And then actually to my detriment, sitting at a desk did me worse. So I just got sicker and sicker. And I just knew in my heart, even when I was younger, that like I was destined for more. I wanted to make money. I don't know where this came from. Like, honestly, I have no idea. I always knew I wanted to make money and have freedom and not be in the rat race and the 9 to 5. And I was just like, I got fired from my first 2 corporate jobs. Then I moved into bartending, serving again. And then after that, I was like, okay, I need to get like a normal job. Was the director of marketing for a bar. So that kind of aligned. And then I just got really sick with like my autoimmune inflammatory disease. And then I finally found I was misdiagnosed for like 10, 12 years with this inflammatory disease. And I finally had a breakdown to my dad. I was like, my body wasn't working. I was tired all the time. I was just literally just like an exhausted middle-aged woman. And it was just something like, okay, I need to do something. But I was so sick that I had to take care of myself first. So I finally like took 3 years time out of life and thankfully was able to support myself doing like Upwork, like just network or freelancing, like social media marketing. Like, I didn't know really what I was doing. I knew social media a little bit, but like I was not an expert, like by any means. I was kind of just self-taught. I started to just kind of like learn from these influencers, like bloggers. And back then the blogs were really big and Facebook wasn't really like as popular. So I kind of just started to like develop these skills just out of survival, like knowing that I needed to take care of my health. I needed to be at home. I needed to, supplement my income because I was on a disability. I had 5 surgeries in 2 years in that time frame as well. And I was just really, really sick. And finally I was like, okay, I need to do something, but like I was the brokest I ever been and I needed something. And this product came into my life and I was like needing to afford it because I was on limited income, and I was like, crap, like, what do I do? And I was like, no, I'm not doing network marketing. Like, that's a scam. It's a pyramid, blah, blah, blah. Completely just let like my misconceptions of what I thought it was. And like, and my friends knew I was sick. So they would slide into my DMs and be like, hey, I know that you might want to try this protein powder. Like, it was just gross, like the way that people were doing it. And I was like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. But I really wanted to make sure that I just needed an opportunity. So I was just like, well, what's the worst that can happen? Like, I just don't do it anymore. So I started to just share my love for it. And it kind of just exploded. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, oh wait. Then I went to an event and
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, these people are making this much. Like, people are doing this and this and this. And I was like, oh my God, well, I'm playing way too small.
Yeah.
I can have an autoimmune disease, still make money, do it from my bed if I need to. I don't need to like ask permission if I like don't feel good that day.
Mhm.
And it just kind of just snowballed. And like, here we are 7 years later, 6-figure business, like develops team and leader, up and down roller coaster of network marketing. Like, we're not going to lie. Like, it's a journey, right? But as an entrepreneur, you are on a journey.
Yeah.
And
Can I
I have,
interrupt you there?
yeah,
You're in a really good flow, but I really want to, before you keep going ahead and further, you
yeah,
said so many things that I want to bring up now, and then we can go further.
perfect. Love it.
You said things that I hear on a daily basis as an entrepreneur. Well, I'm going to just name some things: disability. I don't know what I'm doing. But first, I still want to. I even want to back up further than that because I introduced you as a fur mama. So you found network marketing essentially when you were about 31 years old, and you
Mhm.
weren't looking for something, and you weren't a mom, you weren't married, you were just a single woman who had this
Mhm.
autoimmune disease that kind of felt defeated because what I heard was that you tried this job and that job, you realized you just weren't employable, like you didn't want to work 9 to 5. And it's not that you didn't, but some days you just didn't feel like you could get out of bed to do it. So you started looking for different jobs that were maybe different shifts, maybe a few days off. So it wasn't the standard, I work 9 to 5 in a corporate cubicle, right?
Mhm.
So you kind of made yourself aligned with this that was going to be perfect in your life. But at
Yeah.
the time, what I hear a lot from other people is, and it's because you found a product. So either people come in for two reasons, Mandy. It's either the business, they want
Mhm.
a business opportunity, they don't care about the product, or they like the product, they've been drinking it, they like it, or they paint whatever you do. Or you came in because you found a product and you just love sharing about things that you love. So those are the two ways people typically come in. But for you, it almost sounded like the perfect storm. Like you did have your ears kind of open looking for something. And then by accident, a product dropped on your lap that you said yes to. When you said yes to this product, did you know it was a networking opportunity? Or did you just say, I need something to help me right now with my autoimmune disease? That's number one. And number two, I want to talk about the disability piece because I had been on it in my life. I had surgeries. I was a hairdresser for 30 years. If you didn't know that, back
Mhm.
surgeries in the hospital 25 times over a 2-year period. And I hear this from people a lot is I cannot do that because I get disability. And
Yeah.
my thought is always, well, do you want to live off of $700 or $800 for the rest of your life? Or do you want to do something to change that? Right.
Right.
So let's go back to those two questions. The one is, did the product come into your lap first or the opportunity? Did you say, I know that there's an opportunity attached and I'm looking for a business? That's number one.
So I actually almost said no to the product because of the opportunity, because of the business model. Like, I just I read the ingredients, like being cocky, like, yeah, whatever. Like, I didn't know anything about like what it was, and I was like, well, no, because I had tried other products from other types of these types of things, and from network marketing, from other friends, and it was just weird. Like, I don't know, it just like I just didn't like it the way that it was either presented or whatever. And the only reason why I did it was like to help a friend out with a different company like years prior to finding it. And
Mhm.
and then the person that got me involved was like, I think you'd be really good at this. Like, you're already on social media, you're already really smart marketer, you already do all of these things. I was like, no, I'm not doing this because I don't think anybody makes any money. Like, are you really making money? And then she like literally convinced, like, I will give her the follow up, the fortunes in the follow up, because that girl would not leave me the hell alone. Thank God.
Yeah.
Finally,
Great.
I
Amen
couldn't.
on that. Amen on that right there.
Um, so yeah, make sure you freaking follow up with people
She
as
saw something in you that you didn't
yeah,
even see in yourself. That's why we follow up. We see something in you that other people might not even see. Like you don't feel it, but we see it. I
yeah.
love that. So she kept on you and kept on you. And finally you said, okay, fine. Were you already feeling great before you started sharing it? Or what was the experience like there?
It had a very dramatic effect on me. And I was like, I had my energy back. I had my focus. Like, I just felt like a real human again. And I hadn't had that for over a decade with like my autoimmune and all of that. So it was like, shoot, I actually like need this. And I don't know how to afford it because I was on disability living in New York City, trying to recover from surgeries, medical debt out of my earballs. Like I couldn't even afford a trial pack of our product. Like I had to pay a credit card. Like it was just, I was financially screwed. Like for no lack of a better way to explain it. Like I just didn't know what to do. And then finally she's like, hello, I'm giving you like the golden ticket here. Like if you just start sharing it, you can get it at least for free. Like what's the worst can happen? I was like, all right, fine. So I started to just kind of share it on social media, like on Facebook Lives, like my very first Facebook Live. Like I say this all the time, was so bad. I was saying like the wrong thing. Like it was awful. I was Pamela Spamela blasting flyers. I knew this from a marketing standpoint. Like I did everything that they tell you not to do, like wrong. And I just kind of figured it out. So I actually, just didn't get started because of the opportunity. Like that sounds so crazy, but
Yeah. No, I love that. And you said so much. Sometimes it's just about believing, having somebody else believe in you enough to just hit that button or make that post or call that friend and let them know, hey, I found something that's really helping me. Whether you are looking at a skincare company, a supplement company, a fingernail company, a travel company, I don't care what it is. It's just getting that belief with someone telling you, Mandy, you can totally do this and this could change your life. So you were super skeptical because you thought, oh my gosh, I can't make that kind of money. They might be making that money, but I can't make that kind of money. And so you talked about an event. Events are really the backbone of all network marketing companies, I believe, getting people to events because that's where you start to personally grow. So give us a little bit on that. Is that similar to what happened? You said I got to my first event.
Yeah, so I kind of try to reverse engineer because I don't really remember what I'm like the type of person that just like goes and figures it out later, and I'm like, all right, well, and I kind of just deal with whatever's in front of me. I do have like very very huge big visions, but like when it comes to like look in the present moment, so I'm very good at being in the present, and I'm very good at being 30 million light years in the future, but like the in between, I don't really know. So I was just like, okay, well, I guess I will do it. I guess I will make a Facebook post. I guess I will go to an event. So, and I never really thought like, because I wasn't really making it like I never really thought like, oh, I could lose my disability. I was just kind of going, and I didn't really know what it was. So I was just like, okay. And I wasn't a business woman back then. I was just going, you know?
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll go in the Zoom. I'll go. Okay, well, they're all saying like I have to go to Orlando. Well, it's freezing in New York City. So like, sure, if I can, like, I used a little bit of the money that I was making, paid off the credit card to go to the event. Went to the event, and it was like they had on like the incentive trip, and it was like all this volume that you had to do, and I was like, how am I ever going to do that? But like if that's the qualifications, then like let's go. And it just kind of activated my like, okay, well, this is the next goal, and then this is the next goal. And then so the leadership gets to go into the event before like the non-leadership, and I was a non-leader at that time. I do not like to stand in line. I do not like to stand in seas of people. I do not like to wait. So I was like, my next event, I am in that freaking room because I just want to be VIP. So it just kind of like activated like my RAS, like your reticular activating system. Like you, yeah, like I just like I need to do this, but it wasn't like I set the goal. It just kind of was just like it activated me in me. So yeah, so I went to this event and like kind of just kicked my butt, showed me what was possible. But then we did a lot of self-development and build my belief in like what was possible. So then I came back from the event and I had like 3 months. And within 3 months, I hit the leadership rank, and I just kept going and going and going. But like it was hair on fire. Like I didn't know what I was doing, and it just started to build. And I think now looking back on it, it's like you just go, go, go. And I was so ignorant. And then to the detriment, which I don't think people talk about enough, is you grow in this profession, and then you start looking at other people, and then you're like, oh, well, this person's doing this, and this person's doing this, and this person's doing this. And then you accumulate all of this knowledge that actually paralyzes you. And that's something in my business that happens. Like, I was ignorance on fire. I think you and I actually had this conversation. You're like, oh, well, why were you so great like in the beginning, and like what kind of dipped off? This was in Cancun, I think. And I was like, I was a cocky little brat. Like, I was like, I'm doing this, and like, look at me, and blah, blah, blah. And then I started to like self-doubt because I had all of this information then, and I wanted to like go further faster, but like I got analysis paralysis. So I kind of just dipped. And now I'm like in this, like, okay, forget all of this. I'm going back to the basics. Like, let's do it. And now round 2 of that, or like my round 2, you know, but I think that nobody really talks about that.
Yeah. And that's very common. I mean, when you're in business for yourself, business is this, okay? People think business is this. Business is actually this. And you just have to grow enough as a person. So when we talk about the word events, an event sometimes needs you, sometimes you need the event. But what is an event? How would you tell people that are sitting right now thinking about a company or joining something? And how would you tell them what is an event? I'm joining you. Hey, you got to come to this event. What is an event?
Yeah. So it's whatever your company is putting on it from a self-development perspective. Cause I think that like us as entrepreneurs, like we are literally paid to be better people. The better that we are in terms of our skills, in terms of our, you know, our belief systems, those things happen at events. And it's like, okay, if you're in a company and you're just zooming all day long, like you don't get to feel the heart and the love of what you're doing and the passion for your company and your mission and all of that. And it's like, you can't really translate that on a Zoom. You can't translate that without being in real life. So you kind of just go and literally to an event to feel that energy, to then come home and be like, okay, I busted through this limiting belief. I got this distinction from this person. I was able to, you know, push out of my comfort zone a little bit more. And then you go home and you just get to work again, and kind of just builds that belief system in yourself. So that's why I love events.
Yes.
And yeah.
I think that you just hit the nail on the head, because I think some people don't understand. They're like, why am I paying money to pay and go see something from a company that I'm supposed to be helping grow their product line and their business? It doesn't make sense to me. But Mandy P and I are in the same company. And the cool part about it is, think about this. This is a low ticket entry to get around people like Mel Robbins, Ed Milet, Jamie Carlina. I mean, who else have we had? Jay Shetty we've had at our company.
David Goggins, like Joseph McClendon, Tony Robbins, Eric Robbins' son, like, or Tony Robbins' son, Jarek, like all of those people have been game changers for me. Like, just random guest speakers. And listen, like, I don't know, but like you are the sum culmination of the 6 people that you hang out with. And like, if you aren't in rooms with people that make you uncomfortable, how do you ever expect to grow? Like, you're just going to stay at this plateau. And I think it's really important to like challenge yourself. Like, I'm personally going through like busting through my own limiting beliefs, my own stinking thinking, my own narrative in my head that I've told like forever. And it's super uncomfortable, and I'm super grateful for where I'm at, but also looking at it from a perspective of like, okay, I get to grow through this, because then if my teammates and anybody that I'm leading goes through this kind of stuff, I'm well equipped to be like, yo, listen, when I was doing this, holy crap, I used to think this and this and this, and it's not, and like, you can't, listen, you can, I love therapy. I think it's great. I check my bills and receipts. There's lots of them, but you also need to have different perspective shifts. Sometimes like you have coaches and mentors, like you're banging your head against the wall, And it's like, you keep banging your head against the wall. It's like, you just need somebody to turn you around and then go the other way. And like, you can't see that perspective without going to events, having mentors, and you can't really do that. I mean, you can do it on a Zoom, but like being around other people that are like-minded and just hearing distinctions. And listen, like I can listen to all the big name players and stuff like that, but having the distinctions in smaller masterminds, like sitting with you and like other leaders and things like that, it's like, oh, like you just start to hear and see things differently and get out of your own way. And I love that. So
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's so good. So what are some of the challenges? Like, so you're not a mom of children, but you're a mom of dogs. Don't have a husband or a significant other that kind of holds you back. We've talked about this a little bit in the past on a few other episodes of like, if your husband's not on board, sometimes it's difficult. So what would you say are some of the some of the challenges you've had to overcome to be able to bring this business to a full-time thing for you, like where you're not working somewhere else.
Yeah. So when I kind of started, so like I said, I was on disability, and just to touch on that, because you had asked that question, and people are so fearful of like, oh, well, I don't want to lose my disability. But like, one, listen, I'm not a tax accountant person, but like you need to like go and speak to a tax person. But like you can develop a company that you don't like your company can earn income, and then you just
Pay you.
yeah, you pay yourself. That's not tax advice. That's just what I personally did. But like I said, I don't know. I was just like collecting money, and then I'm like, holy crap, like this is happening. So yeah, I'm not I have an accountant that speaks to me like she's five, like I'm five, because I just love the other things, right? But it's things like that. Like, so
You can make money. You
right,
can.
there's just ways around it, and you have grace periods. So just go and like don't limit yourself, like because you have $1,200, like you can make $12,000. Like, you know, like you're literally telling the universe, God, whatever you believe, that like you don't want to make more money because you'd rather that consistent check instead of building belief in yourself. Like you're not going to get in trouble. So I just wanted to touch on that. But things that I overcome, and I think that like my brain, like I don't have a husband, I don't have all of that, and I think that that's a blessing, but also a little bit of a curse too, because I think if you have all day, you have all day. So I like learning time management skills and learning like, okay, well, I don't need to watch Real Housewives like all afternoon. Like I need to do all of the stuff that I need to do in the beginning, and just really developing that part of me. And like I said in the beginning, it's like I was hair on fire and just building and building and building, right? And then Corona happened and like all of that. So it's just kind of like it's coronavirus. I don't know, whatever we call it. What are we calling it?
No, I know COVID, but I have not heard the word Corona in a while, so I figured I'd say it.
Are we going? We're like manifesting going back to Mexico, because that's what I'm feeling is happening right now. So yeah, like I think that was like when everyone like we just paused and we're like, holy crap, like okay, the world's changing, I'm changing, energy's changing, things are changing. How can I get further faster to overcome this? But then that's when I really got analysis paralysis a lot, because I was like, oh, I had more time on my hands, like because I wasn't really active. And
Yeah.
I love doing virtual stuff, and I was social distancing, recovering from my surgeries before social distancing was cool. So I kind of just actually developed this narrative in my head that I was very introverted and that I didn't want to do in person. And that actually to my detriment. Like I love being in person now, and I love that. And it's just, you can't really recognize your blind spots without getting out of your freaking house. So
Right.
kind of tying back into going to events and why that's so important. And then having people have the courage to be like, yo, Mandy, like, and call you on your stuff and be like, hey, like we see greatness in you, but like you're self-sabotaging, or you're just not living up to your potential because you keep telling yourself the same story. So just getting out of your comfort zone all of the time, but really the time management and the structure and developing that from somebody who has ADHD, chronic illness, and that has waves and upswings, and managing that. And I always say like wrangling the Mandy brain. Yeah, it's not a husband, but like it's still things
Right.
to handle, right? But again, like if I did have a kid or like a husband or something like that, or more of a structure, I'd probably be more focused. So I've had to really develop skills to be focused, to really just manage my autoimmunity, manage the waves and ride the waves, instead of being so mad at myself that like, oh, well, today I can't. Well, okay, well, what can you do? And that's really been really powerful for me to just recognize and not be so critical, right? Because I think like our biggest limitation is ourselves. And I also have the body challenges as well as like the brain challenges. So I think when you're a mom and when you have a partner, you kind of have to be forced to overcome it a little bit more. I don't have that somebody cracking the whip, right? And I don't have I mean, I have the mentorship and in the business, but like I don't have someone day to day being like, oh crap, well, I only have 30 minutes, so I'm going to utilize the 30 minutes. Like I literally have all day. So creating a structure and a plan and a system and all of those things have been really challenging, but also very gratifying, because now it's like, okay, well, I do this, and this non-negotiable every day. Doesn't matter if I have to do it horizontally. And then I have the flexibility and the freedom if I don't feel good to cuddle with the doggos and watch Real Housewives if I want.
I love that. That was a couple of good points. One I keep losing and I don't want to forget is um, I love this so much because I'll get on with somebody that says, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't go live. I can't build a page. I can't talk to people in public. And then what you just said was so, well, what can you do? Let's start with what you can do, right? And you're using that as an example of maybe not being able to move because your joints are sore. Like, okay, I can't get up and run a mile today, but what can I do, right? I really love that. And I think more people should start asking themselves before they just give themselves that stigma or that label that says I can't, she can, but I can't. You can. Let's figure it out for you, right? The other thing I was just going to ask you was just about that, was the work-life balance. And you made a lot of sense because you are right. Having, people might think having kids and 6 kids, a busy life, and a husband, you have no time for this, but in actuality, busy people find time for everything, and it would structure in easily. But when you have all the time in the world, I totally see what you're saying. It's like, woo, I'll just do this later, do that later. So you've got to be really structured because it's easy to do and easy not to do, right? So that's such a good point. So if somebody was watching this now and they were considering network marketing, what would you say to them is a good work-life balance? How much time would they have to even put into something like this to become a 6-figure earner?
I will never say that you can just post and get a Porsche, because I think that that's like kind of a narrative, especially like in this time right now. People are just like like there's just a lot of other opportunities that are just promising you BS, but they're not really understanding that like those people that are promising you that have put in 10 years prior to what they're doing now. What I am very proud of myself is that despite my physical challenges, despite everything personally and everything that I've been through over the last 7 years, like I'm consistent. And like, it's not really a matter of like some days you're going to want to put in a couple hours. Some days you can only put in 30 minutes. Like some days I can't genuinely like do anything outside of my non-negotiables, and that's okay. But I have the non-negotiables that I've set, and my non-negotiables are making sure I'm posting, having conversations, clearing my inbox, and just showing up no matter what. And I think that you can build this slowly. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know how many hours I put in. I just did the basic things, and then it just kind of started to grow. And you just focus on those non-negotiables first. And listen, like no one has a gun to your head saying like nothing bad is going to happen to you if you don't put it in the work, which is a great thing, but also a bad thing, right? You have to develop the mental fortitude and the discipline to do the things. But I think that like we can either make excuses or we can find solutions. And it's like, I envy people that have like the focus and being like, okay, well, I have 30 minutes here while the kids are in school. Like I'm going to do a power 30 really fast and do messages, posting or whatever, but you can get a lot done in a very short time. I think it's just a matter of like auditing your time, being very honest about it, and understanding that like it's going to ebb and flow. But like your success is contingent upon your consistency and your progress and not perfection. And I think just going after it and like truly just leading from your heart and doing what you can. But this is the beauty of our business. And I was so against it for so long. Like, but I'm so grateful for it on the days where I can't do things, and on the days where like it's not awkward. Like I don't have to call boss and be like, hi, I'm sorry. Like I'm a grandma today because I can't walk. Like I don't feel good. I can barely let my dogs out. Like I don't have to have that awkward conversation that I used to before. You know what I mean? Or like call out sick or something. I can just go in and do the things, and I don't have to ask permission. And I'm very happy about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's for me, that's true success when you have that time freedom. It's not money for me. It's being free to do what you want to do without asking, right? Getting permission.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple more things. We've been already chatting almost 30 minutes, so this is great. Tell me about some milestones or achievements that you've had in network marketing that make you feel really, really proud.
I'm really proud of the fact that like I hit 6 figures. I never actually didn't know I did it until I got my tax returns, and my accountant was like, what the hell? And I was like, yeah, what the hell? But like, again, it was just ignorance on fire. It was just like helping people, serving people, like just collecting the check, depositing it, and like whatever. Like it was just like, I wasn't so focused on, oh my God, I want to build a 6-figure business. It was just like, how many people can I help and how many other people can I train to do this with me? So I'm really proud of that. And just really like the fact that like I get to do this on my I call myself the sweatpants CEO. Like I can genuinely be the sweatpants CEO and like I can do this however I want. And I love that too. And then the direction that I'm going is that I want to develop 4 leadership people this year. So now that I've kind of ebbed and flowed through this and like developed and stood in my CEO role, now I can look at objectively what are my goals, developing the structure, developing all of that. And now I'm proud to say that like I can't overcome all of that too, right? So this year I want to develop 4 leadership ranks and find them and develop them and just be very proud of them and have them have the milestones and wins and look at it because it was all about me for the last 7 years. Now I want the next chapter to be all about them.
I love that so much. I loved seeing so many teammates at our last event. Like last year, I didn't have any. I had one. And then this year, just so many. And I feel the same as you. For me, that's such an achievement, is watching other people become successful under your coaching and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. One last thing I want to ask you. Advice. What is your future? What is your advice for the future of network marketing for people that are kind of looking at it? Their friends are telling them, oh, don't do that. That's one of those things. It's not for you. What is your advice to give that woman at home right now that's like, man, I could so see myself doing something like this, but I have all of this in the background, that noise that's telling me not to, but yet my heart and my passion and my pull is telling me to do. What is your advice to her on this profession, where it's headed, where it's going, and what should she do?
You can't pay your bills with other people's opinions.
Holla.
Because like truly, and like that is something like I can confidently say that now, but I did have that in my ear. Like if you have the pull and you have the passion and you have the drive and the desire to do it, and you know you have this spark inside of you that like you're destined for more, you have to tune everything else out, because those people are not going to, I know I say pay bills, but like truly, like you can't, like are they helping you or are they hindering you? And you have to look at it that way instead of looking at it from like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Like we have enough self-doubt in our heads. Like we don't need to be around other people that contribute to that. And it's just really developing the savageness to be like, I love you. Thank you. But I'm going this way. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this is going to work out. Like prove them wrong. Like if you have that pull, prove them wrong.
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Mandy, so much. So you guys, Mandy's story really resonated with me a lot. And I love that. So from disability to 6 figures, I mean, come on, she is doing it. She's doing the do every single day. If you have that tug and that pull in your heart for more, you too can do it. So Mandy Padlesny, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being live. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for being my friend. And I'm so grateful that I got to have you here today. So, I hope to see you again. I can't wait to have you back here maybe at the end of the year or next year, just kind of hear how your goals and things have panned out. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us in another episode of Her Story Beyond the Sale. It's so important for you to understand and meet people behind the stigma of network marketing. It is my passion and my mission to help you see that you can have more. So thank you guys so much for tuning in again. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on Her Story Beyond the Sale. I'm Lori Hart, and it has been a pleasure bringing you the stories that light the way in network marketing. Remember, this journey is about breaking free from the glass ceiling, creating time, embracing financial independence, and building a life that resonates with your dreams. Do not let fear hold you back. Your story is waiting to be written. Until next time, keep rising, keep inspiring, and keep creating your story in